Jungle.
Good evening, guys. Welcome once again to Breeders Wahala Season 2. So like I said, it's about meeting the breed and its breeders, and then educating you on how to identify which breed it is, and then the quality of the breed at hand. So then we've shot bullies already, yes, but then that was a different class. And then today we are here again to show you other classes of bullies, and then go into detail with Vincent and his boss, and then the almighty kennel man that takes care of all the lovely dogs here. And you can see that he has a good relationship with the dogs. In the videos, you realize that all the dogs are playing with him. The moment they set eyes on him, it's like they've seen their God. And then that's the relationship we should have with our dogs. I mean, your dog shouldn't see you and then be running around or cowering down out of fear. Of course, they should be disciplined, yes, but then the love thing should be there between you and them. So then he's going to take us through the bullies he has, the bloodlines they are from, price of his puppies, yes, and then if he offers stat services, his location, and then all that got him into the bullies. So then please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Welcome to BREEDER'S WAHALA, Mr. Vincent, Isaac, and then Mr. Louis. So please tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Mr. Louis? Why dogs? Why bullies?
Okay, so Louis is an HR person by profession, and by extension, I like plants and animals. So anything, what do you call it, natural vegetation I like. And then when you go into animals, to not just dogs, but birds, any other, animal that makes, man feel quite relaxed and all of that, I like them. But then when you talk about dogs, I'm sure you're aware we have a lot of different breeds, around here. So now let me go into the kennel. Our kennel is called Donewell Kennels, and we are a premium, kennel in Tema, and we specialize in different kinds of breeds. But our leading breed for now is the American bullies. Why American bullies? It's quite a very good question. But before I go on, I'm ably represented here by Vincent. Vincent, everybody knows in the industry. I mean, these are some of the pace setters when it comes to some of these breeds. And Isaac is the man who assists me to get this thing done. Like I said, my profession is also there. This is just my hobby on a good day. So he does much of the work in my absence. Why bullies? I remember so many years ago when I was moving into a particular community, there were pockets of armed robberies here and there. So everybody needed to be on guard. This quite a while back, and so I wasn't too familiar with the breeds on the market and all of that. Yes, then I'm sure I may even mistaken a Doberman for a Rottweiler, all of those things. That was back in the day. So I had to check with my friends who were quite knowledgeable in the area. So anyone I asked, I mean, I want the ultimate guard dog, they will mention pit bull. Ultimate guard dog, they will mention pit bull. So then I went into it, and then I bought, the pit bull, because the crime rates were quite serious. I didn't want a dog that would back down in the middle of any attack and all of that. And at the time, the robbers were usually 4 or 5. So I bought one, and some way, somehow, we felt we needed to respond much more aggressively. So I ended up buying about 4. Yes, then, so that's what got me into this space. Of course, it will come with vets and the cares that come with it and all of that. Then my vet will come to the house and he'll be like, Charlie, boss, the quality of dogs you have here, you can't be feeding them from your pocket. At least you need to commercialize it and then make some gains and then use it to feed them and then all of that. So that's where it started from. From the beginning, I thought I didn't have the time for that. And so I did everything possible to make sure they do not mate. But I think that idea came and it sounded a bit feasible, as against me also wanting more puppies at the time, because I really needed to guard the place with a number. The house had quite some good amount of space. So then we did the first breeding, and that was pit bulls at the time.
Okay.
Yes, we did the first breeding. It was nice. And respect to Jerry Kuonu at
Dollarman, Odoko.
oh, it's Dollar.
Dollar.
One fantastic guy. I mean, he's one of the very good breeders I know were in the system at the time. So I had gotten a dog, you know, from him. He crossed it for me before I brought it home. So I know Jerry would usually deal in very top quality dogs. So we had the first litter. I decided to hold on to what I'll hold on to and then let the rest go. And it was overwhelming at the time. So I was like, okay, well, this thing looks nice. Let's try it again. So that's what brought the interest in the breeding side. And I felt that if I don't have time, at least I could buy some help to, you know, get things going. Then to the reason why bullies. So the interest in dogs, you know, came up and all of that. Then I started hearing all sorts of, what do you call it, comments about the pit bull breed and all of that. I don't know how I got into the bully space. It's either Jerry might have introduced me to it or I might have seen them randomly on the internet. So I took a liking to it, and then I made some few friends overseas, especially in the US, and then I started, you know, bringing my dogs from the US, yes. But then before then, the research I did made me understand that these ones were a bit more calmer than the pit bulls, a bit more, you know, muscular than the pit bulls, and then much more, for the lack of a better word, intelligent at the time. It's arguable though. And then these are perfect family companions.
Sure.
The pit bulls are also like that, but I think the breeders, I'm sure you people are on top of these things, might have stepped the temperaments
Down
you know,
a bit.
down.
Sure.
So then I got into that space.
You mentioned you breed bullies. I mean, apparently
Yes.
another breed, but we are discussing
Yes.
bullies.
Yes.
So we read on the internet that there are many classes.
Yes.
Are you doing any specific class? Are you breeding specific class, or you just breeding what you can lay your hands on?
Okay, that's a very good question. There are different classes when it comes to the American bully world. There are the pockets, there are the standards, there are the classics, and then the XLs. But mostly you hear of the three categories. That's the class, the three class, what do you call it, classes, which starts with the pocket, the standard, and then the XLs. For now, our dogs are mostly standard bullies. Yes, and it's by preference.
Preference.
Yes.
So since your preference is the standard bully,
Yes.
if you mate two standard bullies, that's the male and a male to a female,
Yes.
can you get an XL in there? Can you get a pocket in there? What are your chances, and then what causes it?
Okay, so I think you are beginning to dive a bit too deep. And back here at Dunwell, like I told you, it's not a one-man show. Even there's another colleague of ours who has to be here, but he couldn't make it. So Vincent is one of our masterminds, you know, in what we do. So I would want Vincent to also have a go at that question.
Okay.
Okay, so to answer the question, if you have two standard dogs, would you be able to produce any other class?
Yeah, maybe an XL.
Okay, so that will predominantly be based on the lineage or the pedigree of the said dogs. Because if you have a dog that has a little bit of other breeds in there. So first of all, let me even start from the pocket, for example. So in an attempt to breed a dog that's about 14 to 16 inches in height, you obviously would need another breed that obviously has that kind of height. So if you are looking at the standards or the classics and you have a pedigree paper or a pedigree sheet that lists the parentage of the dogs, and you have a little bit of height in there somewhere, or dogs that really don't have a lot of height, you might be able to get a little bit of
The other classes.
a percentage of puppies that do have height or don't have. So it all depends on the pedigree. It all depends on the pedigree. So if I pick one of my favorite bully lines, for example, I'll pick Razor's Edge. So Razor's Edge obviously started from breeding standard-looking dogs, but now you have certain dogs that have Razor's Edge lineage that are in the XL line. So it all depends on the lineage of the dog and what was present there before the crossing itself was done. So it's not all about the dog in front of you, but what is actually in the bloodline. Yeah.
Okay. So then you mentioned to be able to get other classes, other breeds were added.
Yes.
So then the American Bully, tell us a bit about the American Bully. So is it just the American Staffordshire and then the Bulldog, or for every class you put in a breed like you mentioned?
Yeah.
Maybe if you want smaller, you put in a breed of a smaller breed. So then if that is the case, I mean, before you explain, if that is the case, can we still do that? As in, now that I have this dog in front of me and it is a standard, can I mate it to a Frenchie female and produce puppies and still call them bullies?
Okay, so let me start answering it from this angle. Shout out to Dave Wilson, if just in case he's watching this video, or he will watch, he might watch this video one day. So this whole movement started when Dave Wilson and a few friends decided to take this whole, to veer a little from the usual game-bred pit bull thing. But yes, they used Amstaffs, they used pit bull terriers. But then again, in order to get the different classes of bullies we have now, other bully breeds were introduced. So talking about the Frenchie, talking about the
Maybe a boxer, maybe a dogo.
That will be for the larger sites.
Okay.
Yeah. So probably for XLs, then you're looking at the mastiff breeds.
King Corsos,
yes, a little bit of blood introduced in there for the height.
Okay.
Yes. So it was the Amstaff, it was the American Pit Bull Terrier. Then other pit bull breeds other bully breeds were also introduced, depending on what they were hoping to get at the end of the day.
Sure.
Yes. But if I pick Frenchie, no. This on a Frenchie, no. Or this on an American Bulldog, no. Or even, I see a lot of people doing a Pit Bull Terrier and say a Mastiff, any Mastiff breed.
Okay.
And they still call it a bully, for example.
Like Bandog.
Yes. That would take a number of generations even before those kind of looks even come out in the first place. Okay. So, to answer that question, yes. Even as at now, people can still produce their own bloodlines if they want to.
Okay.
Their own bloodlines if they want to. But it is not from the first generation. Obviously, you're looking at, yes, it will take time. You're looking at somewhere 4th, 5th, 6th generation before something standard comes out of it. Yeah, so it would be wrong for anyone to breed an American Pit Bull Terrier to an American Bulldog, for example, and suddenly call the immediate puppies that come a bully. Yes.
It will take time.
So what about, since there's an American Staffordshire in there already?
Yeah.
What happens if I use this bully on an American Staffordshire? Can I still call them bullies?
So now there are two different breeds.
Okay, what do you call that?
So now there are two different breeds. The Amstaff is a totally different breed from the
bully,
from the American Bully. Two different breeds now with two different standards.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are official colors of the American Bully? I mean, any color is acceptable.
That's one thing that excites me about the bullies, because I could list about 20 different colors.
All are acceptable.
Yeah, all are acceptable. So you could have solid colors like black. You can have blue. White. You can have the tries, champagne try, lilac try, chocolate try. You can
blue
have
try.
So many.
Okay, so does any color come with genetic, should I say, disease? Like the way the male gene in the Danes or the Frenchies are not supposed to be paired. That's in a male, a male, female, or I think the Harlequin or the white Danes also have an issue.
Yes.
Do bullies have genetic related diseases that are color-based?
Okay.
Based on the color.
I will still relate this one to the issue with the Great Danes.
Okay.
So an all white or a male bred to the same all white or male consistently can result to deafness. Can result to deafness as well. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Wow. So then, what classes do you breed here?
Okay, so like I said from the beginning, our the class we associate ourselves with for now is the standard.
Standard.
Yes.
So
We
all the
find out
dogs you
more,
have here
yes,
are
are standards by way of, what do you call it, specification. Yes.
So
We are looking at getting some XLs along the line.
Excellent.
But if you give us a pocket, we'll take it. You don't mind. Yes,
So
yes.
what's the unique feature of the standard bully that got you in? Not the micros or not the pockets or not just the pit bull?
Okay, like I said, I started with the pit bulls. We even have pit bulls, at the moment. Yes. By the way, if anybody is watching and they want to get to know what we are doing, beyond here, I mean, our handles both on IG and Facebook still remains Dunwell Kennels. Yes, Dunwell Kennels. Our contact number is there, and all of that. And at the end of the day, our focus is to focus on throwing, world-class, dogs. When you come to Dunwell, you are sure to see the same type of Rottweiler you see in Serbia or Russia. You are likely to see the same quality here. When it comes to the bully, the same thing. So that's what we would usually would do. But then for the standard, I would want to say that perhaps it was because it's the first, class I got closer to and all of that. In my quest for getting these bullies, because of course they are quite, loyal, they are friendly, they easily adapt, and they are extremely trainable, and all of that. In my quest to getting them, I go closer to the standards, first. And then, like I said, my focus also was mainly security at the time. We didn't just go straight into breeding. It was a process. We wanted to do our own thing at home, and then we realized that by extension it could lead to something like that. So we went mainly for the standard based on our preference and what we were looking for at the time. Yes, but we don't mind. I mean, any other class coming in here. Yes, we are still making some moves. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we've been talking about the three classes you have. That is the three major classes you have. That's the XL, the pockets, and then the standards.
You mean here?
No, class. I mean generally the
four.
bully. For the bully.
So we're looking at pockets, we're looking at standards, classics, then the XL.
XL.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it one standard for all of them, with just the height being the difference, or for each class there's a particular standard for it aside just the height? I mean, are there any peculiar or particular features that each class should have that is not height based?
Okay.
That differentiates what the standard is from the other. So what are the major faults on, let's do a standard since we're in front of you. So what are the major faults of the standard bully? And then what are the major disqualifying faults? And then what are some of the faults that can be let go? I mean, not all faults are disqualifying faults.
So
we can use Dallas here as an example.
So for the sake of time, I might not be not to talk about everything, but probably the basic ones.
Okay.
I'll basically talk about the pocket, the standard, and the classic. For the three of them, you would have basically the four. There is a general bully look. But there are a few things that are allowed in certain classes than others. So the general bully look you are looking for would be a much more blocky head compared to the more snipey heads of the pit bulls. You are looking at a muzzle length that is about a third of the whole head. So not too long and not too short in such a way that they can't, they struggle in breathing. You are basically looking for a Caesar kind of teeth arrangement, not an overbite or an underbite. The underbite is where the lower jaw is a little bit longer than the upper jaw, and vice versa. The overbite is where the upper jaw is a little bit longer than the under jaw. You are also looking at You are also looking at an H frame. The H frame is where you have the the legs being quite straight. You're not looking for an easty-westy. Easty-westy is where the left leg obviously faces somewhere else. Same applies to the right leg as well. So the H frame is where you have the
shoulder to the feet
yes,
being straight.
yes, being straight with the
Chest being
with the chest coming across like that. You are also looking at a top line that is quite straight. You are not looking the raised hind legs, slightly raised would be allowed for the extra large, not the others. Basically, these are petty faults you should be looking out for when you buy a bully.
So then, I know you have puppies around.
Yes, yes.
And I asked if you also do a cesarean anytime you're expecting a litter.
Yes.
You said no.
Yes.
Is it because they are standard bullies, or is it because there's something special you are doing? That is why you don't do a cesarean. Because I and then most of the viewers believe that once it's a bully, I mean it's American bully, you have to do a cesarean to get your puppies.
Okay. Okay. For that, I would say you see, breeding is a science. You understand? That's why I said I give much respect to, Vincent. It goes beyond, biology and all of that. I mean, when it comes to the dog science, it's also that you need to really understand what you are doing. I've picked a lot of lessons from, Vincent and a few other colleagues who are in the space. You realize our bullies are, what you are seeing is what you are getting. Yes, we don't try to put in anything extreme to, we just want nice looking dogs and that would function. Now, when it comes to the breeding process, like I said, the science behind it, sometimes there are so many, pills you can introduce to get certain results. So if you are targeting perhaps a puppy that is already thick-necked and, already extreme and all of that, then you've built the puppy up to a particular stage. So sometimes pushing becomes, an issue and all of that. So we try to go, quite easy, on some of the breeding, techniques. So whatever you want to achieve, once the puppy is out, you can always get to that. So I am not an authority in that area, but I would want to believe that sometimes the CS could be as a result of perhaps the build-up of the breeding process. So if the puppies are, it's even the same with human beings and all of that. I mean, if you are going to have a baby that is, bigger than, usual, beyond 4 kgs and the rest, you may have to opt for a cesarean. So I think it follows the same. That's why it's very important that, if you want to breed, your science should really be good. Yes.
I think Vincent has something to add.
No,
Yes.
the only thing I had to say was basically some also opt for the CS because they really don't want to leave everything to nature.
Yes.
In an attempt to save
The puppies,
all
as
the
many as
puppies,
possible,
'cause,
as many as possible.
it's a process of giving birth. Anything can go wrong at that time. So, in an attempt to just probably save every single member of the litter, they opt to rather go through the whole CS section. But the only thing is that it can't be repeated every single time.
Every single time.
Because he has his own aftermath issues.
So what's the average size for your litter, and what's the highest you've had, and what's the lowest you've had?
Okay, it's interesting. When you read on the internet, the litter size is usually between 4 to 10 or so. Some will say 8 to 10, others will say 4 to 8. But when you try to, open it up to accumulate what everybody is thinking, you'll get between 4 to 10. But we've gotten 12, before. Yes, we've gotten 11 from Dallas before. We've gotten 12 from Cash before, and then Omanye, a number of 11s and 12s, and all of that. And then we've gotten 6, 2 from Chicago before, and I think we've even gotten 3. Or Isaac. Yes, so it's like that. So for us here, our litter size will range between 3 to 12. Yes, depending on the readiness of the female. Timing is very important. So if you don't get the ovulation period right, you may not fertilize as many eggs as possible. Yes, if you get it right, you may fertilize almost everything. Yes, and then going back to the response Vincent gave, I think the cesarean section mostly may also, aside the class of the dog, will also depend on what you are looking for, because we've had those big numbers, but sometimes you may have some having issues because of delays in pushing and all of that. But there are instances if you have your vet on standby, instead of the CS, he could be assisting with the oxytocin shots, which can also help with the pushing of the puppy. So yes, it's a whole science. It's a whole science. Yes.
Yeah, I see that he is cropped.
Yes.
I saw that some of the puppies are freshly cropped.
Yes.
Is it with the breed standard to crop the dogs, the bullies, or you can decide to leave it and then it won't matter?
It won't really matter. It can be either cropped or floppy.
Floppy.
Doesn't
So just the cropping just adds beauty to it.
Yes. It
So
gives it
are
that
there any specific
terrible look most of the time.
crops?
Yes.
I mean, are there different types of crops, and which kind of crop do you people prefer and why?
Okay, so there are different kinds of crop, like you said. Yes, there is the battle crop. That's the extremely short one. There's a short crop. There's a long crop. It all depends on what you're looking for.
The overall look in the end.
But basically, what started this whole cropping thing was that you can't talk about the American Bully without talking about the history of the pit bull. So basically, to cut a long story short, because the pit bulls were used in fighting and pits for
hunting and all that.
The other dogs they were fighting will sometimes go for the more sensitive areas. That'll be the ears. So in an attempt to get rid of those sensitive areas. Yes, but it soon became
fashionable.
Fashionable, a norm in the society. But it doesn't mean that once you own, I've owned pit bulls before whose ears were just left natural. So it all depends.
Sure. At what age do you do the cropping? I mean, what age do you advise that we do the cropping?
I wish my vet or my surgeon, we normally will use Jackson, respect to him wherever he is. Jackson has done most of our cropping for us, and then we've used Kojo, as well. Yes, Kojo is also, very good at it. I told you for Dunwell, we try to do everything, I mean, to that kind of quality. Yes, professionally, that's it. So for Kojo, I think would prefer, both of them would prefer any, number of weeks that at least about the second shot would have been done. So anything from 8 weeks, is good. And like Kojo will say, the earlier, the younger they are, the faster the healing process is. So it also depends on what you are looking for. Dallas, for instance, was cropped at a much later age, so it took a while for it to heal. And then we also had issues with the levels of xylus and things but I think when they are quite younger, it's easy to manage the doses and then the difficulty of the entire process. But I've seen dogs at 1 year being cropped before. Yes.
Fine?
It's
Nothing
fine.
happens to the dog?
Nothing happens. Yes.
But it takes, like you said,
Longer time to heal.
Yes. But you see, with the cropping thing, I know a lot of people are sensitive, to these things. But you see, you have people docking tails of boa bulls, but criticizing, cropping up. They are all, surgical process and all of that. And sometimes it's quite funny. You'll be in the office and you're chatting with someone who is, criticizing why you are,
but he's docking his boa bull in the house.
And or the Doberman or whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, to correct that impression, the cropping, what do you call it? Procedure is very seamless, especially when you are using modern day techniques. You can put the puppy down. The puppy is just put to sleep, and then by the time it wakes up, it's gone. It doesn't even feel a thing. Yes, there are instances where there is even no drop of blood in the process. So it's not as if it's like a very horrendous process where someone is cutting something. We are also considerate of the the well-being of the pet. And don't forget, these dogs, cost several thousands, of dollars. So nobody would want to inflict.
So of course, it cost you.
Yes.
Okay, so talking about your bullies, your standard bullies.
Yes.
How many are they in total?
Not to be political, but I can't count. But Isaac, We have quite a number. Maybe once we go through the video to give, but even we didn't parade all of them because of the lack of time. But we could peg them at about, let's say, 13, 14 adults, and then about 5
young puppies,
particular generation of puppies, and then about 5 much younger, you know, puppies. Yes, yes.
So how many males, how many females?
Males, I can count. We have 4 adults,
4 adults,
and then 2 young ones coming. Yes, we have one, you know, coming. OJ, you have to watch out for that dog. I don't know if we end up with, you know, Vincent some way somehow, but we have 4 adults and then 2 puppies we are raising to take after the adults we have. Yes, but the females, I would say they should be about 10 or so plus. Yes, yes, and then also about 3 females also coming. You saw them. Yes. One has disturbed you a lot. Very stubborn puppy.
Very.
Yes. That's what you like about the bullies and then the pit bulls by extension, or perhaps like the rotten. They have a lot of drive and they don't back down. And then I mean Dallas here, if you want to mess around with me, you are into. We can see. I mean, it flows, but when it gets to business, they don't back down. They don't back down. They defend with their lives. So if you are looking for an ultimate guard dog that has a very balanced, you know, what they call temperament, then you would want to consider the bullies. And then depending on what lifestyle you want the dog to meet, you may consider either the pocket, the standard, the classic, or perhaps the XL.
To buy, you should consider your lifestyle as well. Okay. Because I have a 1 year 6 months bully at home. Basically, if we're going for walks, basically we're looking at if we're looking at morning and evening, we're looking at 5 kilometers in the morning, 5 kilometers in the evening. And yeah,
they can go that far.
Yeah. Yes, depending on the class.
So like I said, depending on your lifestyle.
Okay.
So you should be able to look into the kind of class you are buying from, as well as the pedigree of those dogs as well.
Okay.
Before.
So talking about your adults.
Yes.
Let's say the 13 adults you have.
Yes.
Were they all imported, or some of them were?
Most of them were imported. Let's say about 7 also were imported, and then even those that were not imported by ourselves, we got it from colleagues that did the importation themselves. We got quite some good dogs from Tenderman, I'm sure. Yeah, if he's watching this video, let him know I've missed him. Tenderman is not in the system at the moment, but he was also one very solid American bully breeder. He was really on fire. He was taking, you know, the breeding, you know, of these dogs to a different level, but plans changed, and then he's no more, you know, around. But he's also been very helpful, I mean, by way of knowing how to, you know, tread, you know, with these dogs. Oh no, I mean, this male will be better, or this female. Charlie, these are your dogs. If we pair this and that, he's that type. I mean, even though he had his own thing going on, he's been very, you know, instrumental in supporting what we do. So, I mean, majority we imported ourselves just because we were looking for a particular quality. And now, I'm sure if you look at the system, if you want to identify a kennel that has a very good representation of standard bullies, you want to talk about Donwell kennels. I don't know if there's any
other standard bully,
like, you know, well represented like we do. Yes. Sure. When you look at the pockets, I'm sure the man requires no introduction. You know, Otto is having that,
the
you
pockets,
know,
he's
that bit. Yes, he's also really pushed, you know, the bully thing to a very large extent. But like I said, I started the standard before I even heard Otto. Maybe if I had got to meet him earlier, I might have been influenced.
All right, so you said you imported seven of them.
Yes, about
7 of them. What's the average price for one?
Well, it depends. Like I said, quality sometimes can be expensive, though not all the time. I remember for cash at the time was put on auction of a sort. So cash was, I think, about $7,000 or so.
Wow.
At that time, yes. And an Indian guy won also, but somehow he couldn't honor his commitment. So it came to me, but then we're buying a couple also, so it was stepped down. But I mean, together with flight cost, we normally will use KLM you know, it works very well, you know, for us, and we like their services and all of that. They should pay us for this, you know, advert. Yes, it will cost about $1,500 on the average to bring one dog. So that's the math.
Okay,
So averagely,
sure.
7,000
8,000.
back to back.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay, sure.
the health test and all of that, getting the permit from what do you call it, Ministry of Agric and all of that, putting everything together. Kennel price, if you have $7,000 at the time, we haven't imported for about 2 years or so, but
Okay.
the last time I checked, yes.
But
But
so
the
this guy was imported too.
yes, yes. I mean, you'll not see Dallas's kind anywhere, so you'll see them mostly overseas.
So please, what color is this?
This is a lilac tri.
tri.
Yes, yes, a lilac tri.
Interesting. Interesting.
And that has also cost us. Is it an arm and a tooth or a leg? Yeah, it was very expensive. We nearly lost him and all of that. And when you are dealing with some of these foreign breeders, I remember the first importation I did. You know, they are very serious. I mean, they attempt this environment with a lot of professionalism.
Yeah,
so when I met Shane on the internet, we went talking and all of that. He made me understand that, look, you have to make a deposit and all of that. And so once you make the deposit, we'll go into an agreement and all. Then he asked me, where are you coming from? Is it Africa? I said, yes. And I was like, he wanted to more like advise us to be careful of what we were doing, because the deposits are usually not refundable.
Deposits are not refundable.
Yes, not refundable. The person will consider you wasting his time and all of that. He may get even a worse price than he was selling it from, you know, earlier on. So he may, you know, lose out. So once you make the deposit, it's part of the contract. It's not refundable. And he looks at some of us from this part of the world wanting to spend this amount of money on this luxurious dog, if I should say. He didn't believe it. So he was in a nice way trying to let us know, you can consider, you know, making this deposit, because you may not be able to, you know, finish it. But that's how. That's how it went. But he really cost us a lot. Yes.
So do you offer start services to females outside?
Yes, yes. Previously we were not, you know, because of so many, you know, challenges that come, you know, with it. And a lot of respect to those who offer start services. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. I know you are in that space, and you know, from the risk of the female come, you don't know how the female is going to behave, you know, and all of that. And you may do some health tests and all of that, but you may not know to what extent, you know, and all of that. And once a foreign dog comes to your kennel, I'm sure you know, you wouldn't sleep. There'll be a lot of noise from night. So the inconveniences are a lot. And for me, because it's not my main hassle, if I should say, I wasn't really interested in that. But you know, once you have, you know, good dogs like this, everybody wants the blood. So we do of late, yes. Okay. At very pocket friendly prices.
How much are you looking at? Is it, okay, you have 4 adult males.
Yes.
Does your start fee cut across, or it depends on which of the males the person wants to use?
No, it depends on the makeup and then the evolution of the dog. Like Vincent, who is an authority when it comes to, you know, the knowledge about this breed, you know, he explained earlier, it shifted from different colors, but the in thing at the point were the blues.
Yes.
That was like just about 3, 4, or 5 years ago.
So long ago. Not so long ago. I remember
the
blues.
So long ago.
So the
yes.
was crazy.
Yes.
Now, then people are chasing the tries and the
tries.
And now the males as well. Because the males now are the big thing now.
Yes. So at the time we had the blue, you know, so the blue came, then we started going for the tries. The blue tri came even before the lilac, and then the champagne and all of those came, and then now the male. So our blue, of course, because it's an earlier what do you call it, specs of the breed is lesser than the blue, which is also lesser than the lilac. Yes. And all of that. So it goes.
So how much are you looking at?
Oh, it's quite interesting. Like I said, I have to put on record that, you see, when it comes to these animals, you know, it shouldn't be what do you call a profit center, if I should say, because they are living things as well. They are not like cars and stuff that you can, you know, just look at the economic aspect. You look at the person you are dealing with. Sometimes you look at the background. You look at the passion for the dog. You even want to look at what the person is trying to achieve with everything. So we'll look at all of these things, and then we'll place you on a quite pocket-friendly, you know, fee of.
So it depends.
Yes.
If
It even depends on the female that's
Yeah,
being
breed.
bred.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
yes.
it cuts across.
Okay,
Yes.
so
So it's
how
a
are
range.
puppies?
It's a range.
How much
It's
do
a
you
range.
sell puppies? Is it,
Vincent, will you give the range for the start?
For the start.
Yeah, for start.
So
Minimum, maximum.
Yeah,
Yes.
that kind of.
so we're looking somewhere. I think that the lowest we've done so far would be 4K.
Yes, for some of them,
For-
but I
yeah,
think we've
for-
gone for like I think 3 or so for money. And sometimes too, it's good to mention. Some people would want to pay an amount and then top it up with a puppy.
Yes,
and all of
yes,
that. So
yes,
it's
So
it
it, like I
varies.
said,
Yes,
it depends.
depends on what you want
So
to do.
the lowest you've been, whether with or without the puppy, is 3,000.
I would say I think 2,200 or so. That was really rock bottom. But that one was for Omanye because Omanye is blue, and the person really needed it and all of that, and we had to bend
So,
backward for the person. And
Like you
these
said,
dogs
you
stay.
work,
yeah.
you work in the HR department.
No,
so
no. It's not as if I'm comfortable or anything, but like everybody and what do you call the vibe they carry and the extent you want to. Yeah, you may never know. You might even see someone and looking at his program and what he's trying to do. You may want to go, free on start, and all of that. I think Vincent can, testify to some people who might have gone into those.
Okay. So for your puppies.
Yes.
So just like the stats, you have the color and then maybe the trendy.
The
look,
physique, yes.
The physique being the main determinant of the price.
Yes.
For your puppies, this is the same.
Yes, it's the same with the
For
puppies
the
as well.
puppies.
Yes.
So puppy price, just give us an average price for a puppy. I know it depends, but average price.
Yeah,
average
you're right. It depends because
Yes.
you would have some really standing out.
Yes.
Show quality. You would have some also like pet quality.
Yeah.
It basically depends on what is on the ground.
Yes.
And
Okay, you have puppies from Hem and Pinky now.
Yes.
How much are you looking at to live them?
We will have to wait for them to grow a little bit to see the features they are made up of and all of that. So if you realize we haven't really started pushing them for sale in the beginning, we would want to introduce them to see, and most people will also want to wait and see a little. So for now they've not really been priced, but we usually will do from sometimes we used to go for higher fees than that, but now it looks like times are quite different for a lot of people and things are not going well. So I think we've come as low as 4,000 as as possible, though we would get a puppy from outside for 35,000-40,000 plus. So you can see the difference. That's why I say that it's not an area where you can go in and make some quick monies. No, yes, it will take you quite a while to make it, and chances are that you may not make the money, but you may make some very good friends.
Agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes,
I
yes,
agree.
which you can't quantify. Yes, I've made a lot of very good friends, because of these dogs. And once you breed quality dogs, you get to meet people at certain levels in society. Yes, yes. It will amaze you the contacts I have because of these dogs. Yes,
yeah.
Even you. Yes.
All right, Vincent and then Mr. Louis.
Yes.
What advice do you have for bully lovers, bully owners, bully breeders, and those who are yet to even discover that they like bullies?
Okay. So it will be I'll take it in bits because you've put different categories of people in one question. When it comes to the breeders, I would encourage people to try and go for quality. Because it's a dog or it's a breed that is evolving. I think it's the same with all the other dogs as well. Where Rottweiler started from before, that's not where we are now. Where Boa Bulls started from, they were quite bigger and taller. Now you're having very short, Boa Bulls and all of that. So we should go for quality, and then they should try as much as possible to push, the breed, forward. And then also they should first see them as animals, as pets, before they try to put, CD tags, on them. It will help. Then also a lot of honesty is needed as well, because when it comes to the dog environment, sometimes funny things can happen, and unfortunately, you find it coming from the not so, for the lack of a better word, accomplished or popular breeders, and it has a way of messing everything up for them. So at least we should try and or they should try and be a bit more, honest, about their program, and then everything would go, well for them. Not also forgetting the alliances with some of the big names, because once somebody has done a good job and has become quite well versed in the area, the best you can do is to get closer to them and then learn, something, from them. But you can't be going solo and feel you are doing something. Once you go to shows and other places, you realize that people are doing bigger things. Until you came here, I'm sure you didn't know there could be so many, world-class dogs in one location. Yes, so it's good they get some of these coaching from the people who have blazed the trail. Like I said, Jerry Kuono has been quite instrumental. What do you call it? Tenderman, has been, helpful. Vincent has been fantastic. Then Peter, your very, own namesake, has been, instrumental. I mean, Addison also comes in, at a point. PK, there are people who, they may not have, big kennels, or they may not have, they may just have one dog, but it will amaze you how much they can contribute to your program. And then when it comes to the lovers also, it's good for them to know that a lot goes into, getting these, good quality dogs. And so when it gets to the time to make offers, maybe they can be kind enough to make the offers, because some breeders are tempted to take the offers because they have no choice. But then on a good day, they were not supposed to be taking those offers. So, I mean, if I remember your question well, that's what I'll say to both sides of the divide. Yes.
Then what about the tag or the misconception that people have about almost all the bully breeds? Or no, let me say the pit type dogs.
Yes.
That they are overly aggressive. That you can't even get this close to the dog. And you can't leave the dog with your child. And then you can't leave your dog with the compound. It will chew your car ties and all that. I think you've had them from different bloodlines, from different locations, from different breeders all over the world.
Yes.
What would be your honest opinion from your experience with the dogs?
Oh yes. I would even start with the pit bulls. Like I told you, and so it really sometimes interesting what we all look out for. You find someone maybe in the office at church or wherever trying to beef up his security, and he's looking for a dog for security, but he's looking for a very gentle dog. Then the person goes to get that dog who is not really able to display the tendencies they want. And then later they'll tell you, that man with you, and they've come to rob everything and all of that. These breeds are not like that. I mean, you can't take a chance, with them. So even though they are seen to be aggressive and all of that, they are aggressive towards those they should be aggressive, towards. But I mean, Dallas will not, you are meeting for the first time today, but you are almost close. You've handled some of them. Your camera people have. That's how they are. You need to be a bit more, what do you call it? You need to invest a lot of time to let them, appreciate your lifestyle and then live, accordingly with them. But the misconception as though they are overly aggressive and they go around creating troubles. Trust me, you can have some of these traditional dogs everybody knows, the Dobermans and all of that, creating even more problems than the bullies. I mean, I could have bullies around, they may not go and chew my car. It's a Doberman who will go and, chew. It's a Buhabo who would be singing every dawn and disturbing you, not making you sleep and all of that. So that is it. They are just like any other dog, but their energy levels and the extent to which they fight to protect their owners sometimes may travel a bit. They have a lot of similarities with the Rottweilers when it comes to temperament and all of that. Yes. He has a lot to say. He has a lot to say.
Well, I'll start with the misconception aspect. Normally, when we move out to walk dogs and all, you would have people branding the dog a certain way even before getting to know the dog in the first place. To tell you the secret, that was the reason that led me to pit bulls in the first place. To cut a long story short, I think in 2011 or so, I saw a mix. It was an Amstaff Boabu mix. I loved the dog. Immediately I saw the dog. So I followed the owner home. I didn't know him from anywhere. I followed him home. and he explained to me that it was an Amstaff and Boer Bull mix. I knew pit bulls, I knew Amstaffs, I knew Boer Bulls, but there was something about that particular dog. So I decided to learn more about where that particular Amstaff came from, and that was what even led me to the bullies. So I read as much as I could, talk to as many people as I could, and I realized that no, everything that was moving around was just fabricated stories. You would have people seeing the dog, the head, the physique, everything, and immediately think the dog is an overly aggressive dog who wouldn't think twice in hurting you. But that is not the case. I mean, these dogs are family dogs. These to them family first, probably other people later, but these are family dogs. If I trace back, I like talking about the pit bulls in relation to these guys. Going back, I mean, they were called nanny dogs for a reason, at a point for a reason. Yeah. So unfortunately, the media has not helped a lot in branding these dogs. Not helped at all. But then again, I think that misconception should be cleared at one point or another about they being overly aggressive and all. Secondly, in giving the advice out to breeders, I would say that let's try and learn as much as possible. Let's learn. There's so much to learn. I mean, I met people I thought knew so much and I was willing to learn so much from, but they themselves will tell you that there's so much to learn, and don't be complacent and think you know everything. I mean, kennel blindness is kennel blindness is the leading cause of kennels breaking down all over the world, because if you think that you know everything and you think that you have the absolute perfect dog in your kennel and feel you have nothing to learn again, I think that's where the breakdown starts from. So to breeders, I would advise that we learn as much as possible. Continue learning, continue improving your kennel.
Continue investing.
Yeah, continue investing. The standard first, then other things later. Yeah, follow the standard, the money will come later. That's basically it. Then to those coming in, let's not shy away from the look. I mean, see Dallas, for example. He looks quite intimidating, but believe me, he is, in relation to play and all that, he's a balanced dog. He knows when to act up and when to act calm. I mean, like he said, you've been here for how many hours now, and he's not shown any sign of aggression so far. Yes, but believe me, he knows when to act up.
But he'll give you a mean look.
Oh yeah. He knows when to act up. He knows when to act up. The same applies to the dogs inside there too. Yeah. So basically, that is it. Bullies for life.
Bullies for life. All right, guys. So you heard it from Mr. Louis, and
shout outs to all the other guys in the game as well. Also trying to push the other classes as well. Louis mentioned Bully House to shout out to as well. He's doing a tremendous job in pushing the pocket bullies. We've not had any.
We're also pushing the standards.
We've not had any Excel so far, but we're hoping someone else would introduce there, so we
have all the classes.
Yeah, we have all the classes here. So there are the standards, there are the classics, and there are also the pockets at all. Shout out to everybody trying to push the breed in GH as well as all over the globe.
Yes. Excellent. All right, guys. So you've heard it from Mr. Louis and Mr. Vincent.
Not to catch you. There's one person who has been quite helpful in all of these, and he is popularly known as Jay. You know, he knows himself, Vincent knows him, and I think a lot of dog lovers know him. I mean, from the very beginning, it's Jay who would let me know that, hey, I even got to know Vincent through Jay.
Kennel,
HOV, yes. So he's been very helpful. And when you talk about Excel too, I think Biggie Bullies has also quite some passion in that area. So I'm sure something good might come out from there very soon. Yes. And anyone who has been supportive of our program that I may have forgotten, it's not easy having all these, yes, and with the camera looking in your face. So they should forgive me. At the right time, I'll acknowledge them on a different platform.
Sure. So, a lot of viewers, you've heard it from Mr. Louis and Vincent. They've told you all about the standard bully. They've told you what cropping is, why the cropping is. They've told you a bit about the history of the breed. They've told you about how much it costs them to get their stock for you. So please, when you come to them for any of their services or products or produce or whatever they have from them, try to pay the premium price.
But Peter, you didn't ask me how we are able to get them from overseas. We are in Ghana and the dogs.
You mentioned KLM.
Yes, but before KLM, there has to be a human intervention. So a very good friend of mine, Michael, is in the US. He, brings
handpicks them.
Yes, he helps us with the, identification of them, and then sometimes you have to get somebody to transfer something before you transfer to them. He does quite some excellent job, in that area. So
do you know him personally, or just
we've been friends for almost our entire lives. Yes.
Oh, okay, he's a good friend.
Very, very good friend. Yes,
okay, that's fine.
His monies are even in the kennel every here and there. Yes.
All right, so don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. And then please, the next time someone tells you he doesn't want a pit bull or a pit type dog just because he has heard or seen videos online,
they'll be losing out. Yes.
Tell them I mean, come and visit. Of course, you don't just enter someone's house and then play with the dogs. There are dogs that have triggers. Some don't like kids. It is not the breed's fault. Probably something happened that is not even the Louis' fault or his fault. Probably it's something that is genetic, you would say.
Yes.
Maybe closer to the game bred dogs.
And
so
you find certain dogs also picking off the vibe from the people they meet. So
exactly.
you come with them, they'll become with you.
Yes.
You are apprehensive, believe me. They would
sense it in
they would
their
sense
owner
it.
senses.
Yes.
All right. So please, the link to his Instagram pages and